Good morning. It is September 3rd. For many of you here in Wisconsin, it's the first day of school. So happy first day of school. My child went to school, started junior year today. So I'm feeling older than I'd like. But what I'm excited about is to be coming back to Taco Tuesdays after a break here this summer. And I know we've got a great lineup of presenters for you today. You can see some of them listed here on the screen right now. So in the spirit of keeping my intro short, I am going to call on Luke Miller, who's coming to us from Fiero Code. Luke, are you ready to take over?
I am. Let me share my screen. All right.
Looks great.
Great to be with all of you. I am Luke Miller. I'm the founder and CEO of a organization called Fiero Code. We've been partnering with libraries since 2013. We believe that coding unlocks a hopeful future. And as you think about in your community, the people who could use a little bit more hopeful of a future, whether you're a public library or a school library, that is where we come into the equation. We partner with libraries and we make coding education easy. We make it so any school, any library can bring coding to your community in a very low effort but high impact kind of way. As I talk to librarians around the world now for the last, 2013, 11 years, it seems like we're all on the same page. Like we want to bring these kinds of opportunities to our community. Why? Because it ties in with the library mission of like providing opportunities and resources for our community to better themselves, to benefit themselves. In the words of Andrew Carnegie, a library outranks any other thing a community can do to benefit its people. It is a never failing spring in the desert. So that's like built into the DNA of libraries. We all want to be able to bring opportunities like coding education, but it's hard. Like, how are we supposed to do it, right? We don't have coding expertise, right? We're librarians, we're teachers, we're not coding experts. And with that in mind, it can be very intimidating and overwhelming to even think about bringing coding to our community. So at Fiero Code, we've made it really, really simple. We bring three things to the table that empower you to bring three opportunities to your community in this coding world. The first thing that we bring is a learn to code software. It's all web-based. In fact, I've got it pulled up. I'm going to show it to you in a second here. But we bring this software to your community that you can then turn around and offer as your newest e-resource or digital resource. Just like a language learning app or any other e-resources that you may offer your community, Fiero Code offers authenticated user access to be able to access Fiero from home, from work, from school, from the library, wherever they may be, and just create an account, self-guided, self-paced, and start learning how to code. It's that easy. The second thing that we provide as Fiero is an on-demand training program for your library staff. And with this training, it's about 3 or 4 hours long, not long at all. With this training, you are going to get equipped to start and run your own in-person coding experiences using Fiero Code software, whether that's code clubs, code camps, code classes, whatever you want to call them, coding boot camps, whatever you want to call them. We're going to train you up on how to do that. We've started thousands of these programs all around the world. And here's the kicker. You don't even have to know how to code to run a Fiero Code in-person experience. Our software makes it really easy. Our training layered on top of that means that anybody can do it. No coding expertise required. The third thing that we bring to the table is that we offer 3 times a year worldwide coding competitions, particularly for our younger learners, ages 8 to 18. Now, Fiero is for ages 8 to 108. All ages, as long as you can read, can use Fiero and start learning how to code and get the skills that they need to get entry-level coding jobs. These competitions, however, are specifically for our younger learners, ages 8 to 18. There's special content in Fiero. These contests usually last a couple months, and they have the chance to enter it for free and win amazing coding prizes that we as Fiero buy. You as the library or school, you don't have to do that. we've been shipping out codable robots, codable drones, makeys, all kinds of cool stuff, and just shipping it out to winners all around the world. I'm trying to think if we've had any in Wisconsin recently, and I don't think we have, which means you're due. It's time. We got to get some of your students in these competitions and winning these prizes. So with Fiero, you can do all three of these things at your library. You can be offering coding as an e-resource. Simultaneously, you're going to be able to offer coding as in-person programming. And then you're also going to be able to offer Fiero as a special event through these coding competitions for our younger learners. We got this quote back not long ago from Lindy at Salt Lake County, which is a larger system. And she said, coding is the way of the future. And Fiero gives people in your community an opportunity to learn from a young age. And then just her experience with it so far, usage is way above what we expected. And that includes about 10 of our branches using Fiero to run in-person coding programs. I think they've only got like 12 or 13 branches total. So a vast majority of them are using Fiero to run programs. So amazing experiences like that happening all around the world. We give you everything that you need. We make it super, super easy. Quick peek at it. Welcome to Fiero Code. It's awesome. It's gamified. It's project-based learning. You got in the realm of gamification, we got these cool robot avatars. As you complete coding levels and activities, you can customize your robots and dial them in. If you've got students that play Fortnite or Mario Kart, or adults that play World of Warcraft, we all love customizing avatars. We all love getting rewards. You know, it's just a fun little carrot. There's a bunch of different types of content in Fiero. We've got workouts. These are like courses where you learn new coding concepts. We cover, I think it's like 15 or 16 different coding languages and devices. And we even have content where libraries are starting to run coding boot camps for career-oriented adults. This is all brand new as of this summer. We've released some advanced content in here. You'll see in the web category, we've got React and the full stack app, which is Node.js. We've got a GitHub course. So some really advanced stuff that literally, if you want to take a group through this, they will be able to start applying for web developer jobs. So lots of creative and cool and impactful ways to use Fiero Code. If I were to hop into one of these, let's take a look at like JavaScript. You'll see I'm on level 3. Let me hop back into where I left off. This is the core view of Fiero. Fiero is all in one. Everything you need is right here. It's got some instructions, a tutorial video. I can pop that guy up to full screen and then play, pause, rewind, and code right down below. This is my real life coding space. If I want to write something up here, I could say WiLS is amazing. This is my WiLS website. So then we'll close that tag, run that. And there you go. We got a cool website in the making. Saves your work automatically. You can share it out with friends and family. Just follow the instructions, do what it's asking you to do, and it'll take you through step by step from knowing nothing to gaining the skills that you need to get jobs in computer programming. So that's what's going on. Workouts is just one type of content, like courses. Missions, on the other hand, are projects. No tutorial videos, nothing that's going to hold your hand. We just a project outline, go and build it from scratch. We've got 50 or 60 missions that are in there today. We release new ones all the time. So lots of cool stuff for your students to do in there. Create is where you can just spin up a blank project in any of the languages that we support. CodeBlocks is one of the languages that we support. If any of you have worked with Scratch before, this will look very familiar. In CodeBlocks, it's a coding language for beginners, whether you're an adult or a kid, doesn't matter. I will write a simple program that says when the space key is pressed, I don't know, let's glide 1 second to a random position, and then let's say something. Let's say, hello, Will's friends. And then let's click that space key, and there my guy goes. I'll do it again. He'll go to another random position. And that's the program, very visual. So just to show you, we support a lot of traditional coding languages, JavaScript, Python, HTML, CSS, and then we also support this block-based drag and drop coding language for beginners. I can give this project a title, we'll call it my WiLS project, and it's going to save it to my create my projects area. I can get back to that and continue on at any point in the future. So that's what's going on with Create. Challenge is the last screen that I'll show you. Challenge is just where our contests are hosted. Our next one starts October 1st and goes till November 30th. We do 3 a year. We do one in the spring. We do one in the summer, and we always tie in the CSLP summer reading theme for you public libraries out there. And then we always do one in the fall. These are all planned a year in advance. They're accessible for beginners and just a super fun way for students to do something that's competitive and gamified and have the chance to win really cool prizes. We also have an admin side to Fiero Code. I'm not going to show it to you right now, but on the admin side, you can run reports. We have really good reporting. We've got access to our marketing center where we literally have hundreds of graphics, pre-written like social media posts, email blurbs, all kinds of content to make your life really easy. We've got videos, posters, handouts. All of our graphics, hundreds of graphics, were designed in Canva. We share the Canva project link with you. So you can literally just, take our design file, take off our logo, put on your logo or whatever you want. You've got the ability to do all of that. So that's what's going on with Fiero Code. Partnering with schools and libraries around the world. We're the largest learn to code solution in library land worldwide. We made it super easy. Any library, doesn't matter your size. We've got rural libraries, we've got urban libraries, we've got tribal libraries, schools of every kind that are using it. It just makes your life super, super easy. Those of you that are in schools, we've got some added support or resources. In addition, we've got things like our scope and sequence documents where you can run up to 6 years worth of coding education in your school system, starting in elementary, all the way clear up through high school. All that's pre-built, designed for you, plug and play. You can offer coding to your students without knowing how to code. Next steps. If you're interested, or if you have questions, first of all, you can reach out to me, luke@fierolearning.com. And then if you want either a quote or trial information, that's all available through WiLS. Thanks everybody for taking some time to listen. I hope we get the chance to work together and have a great rest of Taco Tuesday.
Okay, 3 times to hit the mute button, but I got it. Thank you so much, Luke. I always love having you here. You're so enthusiastic. You've got such an exciting resource to share with our members. So I will echo Luke's exhortation to reach out, learn more from him, reach out to us. We can get you that trial information. We can get you quote information, get your students coding with Fiero Code. So thank you again, Luke, for joining us today. All right. Going to very briefly flip back to my other screen just to tee up our next presenter. So joining us from Chronicle of Higher Education, longtime vendor partner, WiLS and the Chronicle go back many, many years. I'm excited to bring to Taco Tuesday Ray Farmer. Ray, are you there? Oh, I see you. There you are.
Hey, Jeff.
To kind of take the reins and show us something.
Yeah, I am. Thank you for this opportunity. Sorry for the panicked email I sent you a few minutes ago. I think it was but no, thank you. And I don't think we've done this before. Oh, it says someone else is sharing, so I can't share my screen yet.
That's my fault. I've stopped sharing now. You should be able to.
Got it. But no, this is really, I don't know if I'm going to be as exciting about the tacos as the previous presenter. I like tacos, but I am on the East Coast, so I should be eating a taco right now because I'm an hour ahead of you. But anyway, my name is Ray Farmer. As Jeff said, I am the Senior Director of Institutional Engagement at the Chronicle of Higher Education. I work on a team or a line of business called Content Revenue. And within that unit, we manage our site licenses. And so I manage all site license contracts and lines of business, operations, activations, contracts, consortia, negotiations, all of that is within my department. I've been with the Chronicle just about 5.5 years. started on the corporate side and moved over to this group about 2 years ago. And I'm going to give just kind of a little behind the curtain look at the Chronicle as a brand first, and then go into some of the features of the site license product itself, although I can't get it. There we go. So the Chronicle, as I'm sure many of the WiLS members are familiar with and know already, we're the most trusted and comprehensive source of news and information research within higher ed. We have the largest newsroom that covers higher ed. We have over 60 reporters in our newsroom. They are truly experts. The Chronicle's been around over 60 years, and we have a lot of people here who've been reporting for us and writing for us for 25, 30 years or so. So as a media company itself, we produce a lot of products along with the content. We have a Chronicle store where you can purchase our Chronicle reports. And I know a lot of the members do licensing and buy the individual reports. We also have a job site, Chronicle Career Services, again, specifically focusing on positions in higher ed. We have a unit called Chronicle Intelligence, which is where we create custom content with advertising partners, corporate partners, but also with institutions, sort of thought leadership products and special program. We have a Chronicle Studio, which is where we produce virtual events and virtual forums. Some of you may have seen some promotion for CronFest, which is starting next week, I think on the 10th. And that will be a 2-day virtual conference covering the future of higher ed. We have a report out now called Higher Ed 2035, which is looking ahead at the future. And obviously, as a media company, we do advertising. If you're thinking of the Chronicle as a media publication or brand and where it fits, along with the other content you might consume, looking at this chart here, and this is sort of a peek behind the curtain of where we view ourselves within our competitive set. As a news publication, we obviously fall into sort of these 4 squares here, whether we're general interest, whether it's regular news, whether it's niche, whether it's analysis. The Chronicle really is sort of skewing more on the analysis side, as you can see here, compared to what you might see in your local newspaper, the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. But we're also skewing niche as well, because we are primarily and solely focused on higher ed. It is not our business model to break news or to be a breaking news outlet. Rather, it's our model to cover the events and the trends and best practices and offer solutions to our readers and our readership. And the way we think about what we produce, obviously for the site license business itself, which are all contract, we have to have some knowledge of what university and college budgets look like. And we know that the revenues or the allocations, budget allocations that support site license subscriptions are coming out of the collections budget. This is a pie chart that we got from the ACRL, specifically for doctoral universities. So we know this doesn't represent all types of budgets, but we understand that the collections budget is where the allocation for site license access and electronic resources lives. And we understand also that they are constantly being squeezed. I was at a conference last year with some librarians, and the theme of that conference was no one is coming to save us, so we have to save ourselves. And that really resonated with me, of not only the pressure that our readers are under and our librarian customers are under, but also how they view the important work that they're doing as very much a cause to continue. So because of the content we produce, we have to spend a lot of time thinking about what our readers need from us. And that goes to what I just spoke to a moment ago about our content being in depth, not just being a quick snippet breaking news headline, but also that we're presenting ideas, we're presenting best practices, and really trying to illuminate the big picture. I have been in some conversations where people have sort of just looked at us in a transactional way. I can get this from the New York Times, I can get this from the Wall Street Journal, but their focus is not on just higher ed exclusively as we are. We're looking at it from all perspectives, whether it's the student, the staff, faculty, administrators, leadership, and policymakers. And again, that goes to what I just said a moment ago. We're not trying to break news. We're trying to inform and connect and empower our audience. And so we deliver that to our readers in a number of ways. Obviously, as I said, our newsroom is filled with experts in a number of areas, but the analysis, the deep dives, trends is very important. I mentioned the Higher Ed 2035 report that's out now. But we're also doing investigations. We're holding higher ed leaders accountable. We are receiving opinion pieces from higher ed leaders, and we are also providing advice within our journalists. So all of that sort of ties into what we deliver. And, you know, just to give you an idea, as I mentioned, I manage the site license business. We are constantly looking at usage. And this is a snapshot of our top 25 site license usage customers for the past year. 65% of them are public institutions, 35% of them are private institutions. So we have a big audience, or I should say a footprint with the public institutions. I know a lot of the members in WiLS are public institutions, but we're supporting that sort of presence with them by how high their usage is. Now, it is going to vary by the size of the institution itself, but these large state public institutions are dominating in the actual usage, which proves that the site license is actually not only a needed resource for these campuses, but it is very much in use with them. A large chunk of our annual site license business is consortia business. These are a few of the ones that we work with, obviously WiLS being in that mix there. But right now, the Chronicle, well, I should say as of the past year, the Chronicle had just over 30 consortia partners that we work with on annual contracts. So it is a key part of our business, a key part of our business model, working with consortia, helping the consortia managers provide whatever information or research or even specific requests from their members that we can help them, as well as troubleshooting and account management. So it's an important part of our business. We recognize that, and we are devoted to continuing sustaining that. Looking at the site license product itself, and a lot of this the librarians may be familiar with, but just to give you a rundown of what the key product features are, the first thing you get under an annual site license is unlimited digital access to Chronicle.com for your entire campus. So that's the website, all the articles. We also have an archive of content going back to the 1980s. We actually get a lot of requests from faculty looking for specific articles or research from previous years, even previous decades. And this has been a key feature of the unlimited digital access. This is on campus and off. We obviously have IP authentication as well as domain access. But we don't necessarily require, but you can use Easy Proxy and other platforms for authentication and purposes. We know privacy is a big issue now. And so we are very conscious of how the product works within those filters. In addition to that, we created this past year a librarian resource hub. This is a microsite that lives on the Chronicle website with a dedicated link. It is specifically a tool for our librarian customers. We have built this site to include downloadable flyers. We have social media assets, blurbs. We have links to other content features on the site itself, like our job board I mentioned earlier, our pay scale. Just a number of things that the librarian can access to help them spread the word through their own communication channels about site license access to their campus community. Again, this reinforces why we see ourselves as a resource and why we want to help support the work that librarians do. We also offer a customized institutional page. So when you log on to the Chronicle.com under your site license, we can actually sort of position specific content pieces for that page for you. You'd have to let us know what type of editorial tags, whether it's financial aid, whether it's social mobility, whether it's student wellness. We can make those sort of the features that appear first when someone from your campus logs in. And we can do that through a customized institutional page. It's just something you need to ask us for. We also have a virtual orientation for new customers. So every time we bring on a new site license institution, we make a point of asking them if they'd like to schedule, have an orientation, if they're new to it, if it's a new librarian, maybe previous librarian retired and they're just not familiar with how to navigate the site. We make this part of our engagement effort, and it is part of the business unit that I manage. We look at both growing the business, but we also look at maintaining engagement as a key part of what we want to provide to our customers. Obviously, usage reporting is essential. It helps determine what budget's going to come back for the renewal of the site license. I should mention, as you probably know, all our site licenses are annual contracts. Usage reports are now done through a proprietary system in-house. You do have to request it from our team to get a usage report, but we are moving towards Counter 5 compliance in 2025. We're actually in the implementation stage this fall and hope to be able to roll that out in early 2025. Again, we know how important usage reporting is. One thing that I think gets overlooked as a benefit of site license access is the ability for your users to create free newsletter subscriptions. So we have over a dozen free newsletters on the site, daily and weekly newsletters, and anyone who's under the institution site license can register for a subscription to receive a newsletter via email, whether it's daily or weekly. And this is something that I think gets underplayed, but we do want to make sure that that word is spread, that you can get access to additional content through our newsletters. And then finally, just as I'm watching time, I want to be mindful of my 15 minutes. We launched this year a report upgrade. So we did a survey last fall to a number of about 500 librarians. And one of the things that came back most consistently was we would like to get Chronicle reports as part of our site license purchase or part of our site license access. There are free reports that come on the site, but they're abridged reports. These are full edition newsroom reports that are in the online store that can now be added to your site license for 1 year. You can choose 2. Right now we have about 12 titles available. They have to be formatted in a certain way in order to be under the site license. So we've got 12 ready this year. Well, by the end of the year, we will have 12. There are 11 right now. And you can choose 2 and add them to the site license access for the year. And then at the end of the term, you can either cancel them or you can choose new titles. And we're planning to build a separate library or a concurrent library to the online store of titles that are available to be added to site license access. So again, we hope that future members will take advantage of that. This is actually a YouTube video that shows how the upgrade works, but it's not going to play. It's also because I embedded it into this presentation, and it's going to link out to YouTube, and it's also going to take up too much time to play it. So that is the end of my presentation, Jeff. I don't know if there's time for a quick question in the chat, or again, I haven't done it before, so I apologize if I'm throwing off the protocol.
No, not at all, Larry. Or sorry, I saw the name Larry on my screen. You are Ray, though. Thank you, Ray. When you see a word and you're talking and you say the wrong word.
All the time.
No, but a great presentation, a really great overview of the Chronicle site license, which I don't think we've had before. And I'm really excited to be able to share this with our members. I haven't seen any questions come in, but I will repeat what I always say, which is, please, if you're watching this live or on the recording, please reach out to us here at WiLS. Ray, with your permission, I'll include your contact information.
Absolutely. Yep.
My follow-up, so folks can reach out to you directly if they've got questions. We have a pretty substantial group of subscribers at WiLS for the Chronicle of Higher Education, but I know that there are higher ed institutions in Wisconsin who aren't getting it through WiLS. So we're hoping that this gives you a little bit of a view into what your institution could gain by joining the site license subscription. And if you are a current subscriber, I know you just renewed, right? But that reports upgrade, if you want to know more about that, please reach out as well. I'm sure Ray would be delighted to talk about that in more depth too. The only other thing I'll say, Ray, is if you share the URL to that YouTube video that you wanted to include, I can include that in my email follow-up after the session, so folks can check that out on their own time.
Perfect. Yeah, I will send that to you, Jeff.
All right, great. Thank you again, Ray, for joining us today. It's really nice to kind of meet you face to face for the first time.
Yeah, thanks again. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Take care. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is one more time gonna share this screen so that folks can be ready to move on to our next presenter. Speaking of long-time WiLS vendor partnerships, Clarivate and ProQuest and WiLS have been partners for many, many years. So I'm excited to welcome back to Taco Tuesday, Larry Wilkner. Larry, I'm going to stop my screen share so that you can take over if you're ready to go.
I am ready to go. Thank you very much, Jeff. Appreciate the opportunity here. And I'm just going to share my screen and get to the right slide. And you could just let me know, Jeff, if you can see everything okay.
Looks good.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for the introduction. Very excited to be here. I am Larry Wilkner. I'm a product manager at Clarivate, mostly working on the ProQuest branded products, which include Culturegrams, the SIRS products. And today we're here to talk about eLibrary on Taco Tuesday. So what is eLibrary? Some of you who may have a longer history in the library field may remember this as electronic or electric library way back in the 90s. It's continued to evolve as it moved onto the web, and it's now eLibrary, and it's been part of ProQuest for a number of years now, and we continue to add content and curate content on this platform, particularly to meet the needs of schools K through 12 as well as undergraduate. We like to say that eLibrary represents the power of aggregation combined with the judgment of curation. What makes this database distinct is that it has a very easy to use interface with very visual elements to help with browsing as well as searching. And we know that different learners learn different ways, and some learn by searching and some learn by browsing, and we support both in eLibrary. If you've used the SIRS interface before, perhaps you're a subscriber to SIRS, this is the same user interface, same navigation, so it'll be familiar to your students who use SIRS. The content and navigation is appropriate for novice researchers roughly through the grades of middle school through undergraduate. Our sweet spot is sort of that high school and undergraduate time period, but we do have middle schools that use eLibrary as well. Again, I say novice because a lot of people associate ProQuest with higher end academic research, which it certainly is, but this is really a database with training wheels. So we understand that many of our users may not have used a database before and may have only used, the open web. And so we account for that in our design and in the content and the way we select content and curate and aggregate it. It really is a massive collection of editorially selected media. This means, all of the major US newspaper dailies like the New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, Wall Street Journal, etc., major magazines like The Economist and The New Yorker. Again, these are full run publications. We also include digital archives like the Bridgman Art Archive and Getty Photo Archive. And we have book publishers as well, including the Encyclopedia Britannica and many, many more. So obviously with this massive collection, it makes us able to really cover a wide spectrum of topics and really cover all of the disciplines of K-12 education, whether it's science or more of the humanities based. But so much information could be overwhelming for a student to encounter what they need to find a topic or to get more information to support their research. And so that's why we created what we call research topic pages. And there are over 10,000 of them aligned to all areas of the curriculum, as well as the most common search queries that we see coming through. And what these topic pages do is they reveal current content on the subjects that students are researching, whether that's a person, a famous person like John Steinbeck or Thomas Hobbes, a historical event like D-Day, literary genres like the Harlem Renaissance, or indeed current contemporary events as well. You can see example of one of these. So each of these topic pages is individually curated by a Clarivate editor who's trained to select content that's appropriate to novice researchers. And it's really intended to provide some scaffolding for that student researcher. So it gives that overview article that gives them the basics. When did D-Day happen? What was its significance? We don't assume anything because we know a lot of researchers are arriving with very little background in the topic they're researching. We supplement that with that huge digital image archive that we have. So these are rights cleared photos that you can use through the fair use guidelines. Your students can use them and incorporate them into PowerPoints, etc. Citations are readily available as well. And these topic pages just give you that grounding, that's the grounding that students need to understand enough to then be able to dive deeper and really begin their research journey. Again, we use leading publishers with decades of experience vetting information for accuracy and relevance. So this is not the open web where you have to wonder about the provenance of information. It's comprehensive, as I mentioned, over 100 million documents, periodicals. There's peer-reviewed journals for maybe your IB or AP students doing research projects. Over 7 million images as part of eLibrary, updated all the time. These images almost represent a database within a database, right? Just a massive collection. Pretty much any topic that you can think of will have something on it that you could incorporate into a Prezi or a PowerPoint. There's over 2,000 titles included, periodicals, newspapers, magazine, books, image collections, transcripts, maps, video clips, just a lot of material. But then there's that curated aspect as well that is best represented by the research topics that allows students to browse, see what they're interested in, or encounter things through search to aid their research journey. And again, it's all very visually studying, very almost Netflix-like in its presentation of information. How does this product help librarians? eLibrary offers a one-stop shop for a variety of content types. So you don't need to buy multiple products to support different content types. It's all together in eLibrary. The research topic pages, and don't take my word for it, we hear this all the time from our users, assure a more successful research experience. So you're going to get users coming back and back again to use eLibrary. So you have that return on investment that you need to justify renewals. All of the text documents are Lexiled. They include document translation in up to 19 different languages. There's text-to-speech capability, including the ability to download audio files. And we integrate with a lot of file sharing services like Google Single Sign, Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, and we even integrate with learning management systems like Canvas and Moodle. So why is this important? Because it supports a diverse group of users within a single database. So we take accessibility very seriously. It's incorporated in the design of the product, and we update our accessibility documentation annually. We also have a standards correlations tool, so you can demonstrate how the content in eLibrary, this massive collection of content, aligns to the standards in your state, in Wisconsin, down to the benchmark level. It's not curriculum per se, but it does align to those benchmarks and standards, and we demonstrate that within the product. How does it meet user needs? One important thing, it's 100% full text, not just AI. Again, students really can't use AI, particularly in the high school. They need the full text. They need that information. They have it at their fingertips. They don't have to go searching for it. The topic pages help users to identify and clarify their research focus. The image collection allows them to select images for their PowerPoints or other presentation types. It also gives you the comfort of knowing that what they're using is rights cleared for use. You don't have to wonder, where did they get this? Do they have the right to include it? The browse experience saves time. It attracts users. A citation generator makes it easy to create citations. And I mentioned those integrations with third-party tools. I don't think I mentioned Noodle tools, but we do integrate with Noodle tools. I know that's a very popular citation management uh, software that is used particularly in K-12. We do support that as well. We make it easy for students to share content with classmates and other collaborators. Again, just to wrap up here, unlike other aggregated solutions, it's not just text, it's also diverse digital media, the dedicated user interface, which again, if you've used SIRS, it's very similar, and it's editorially curated and maintained to both save users times and also give you comfort that the information that's being provided has been vetted, that it is authoritative, and that it is accessible. So I'm going to, in the time remaining, just stop sharing this and go and share my browser, and we'll pop into eLibrary very quickly. I know we're getting close to our time here, but do want to give you a sense of what the product looks like. Again, I mentioned that eLibrary and SIRS are on the same user interface. This is what the landing page looks like. You see you have a lot of browse options. If you want to browse by assignment type, like if your students are researching a career, you have all of these careers to research. If I go into any one of these, you have this editorially curated content. All of the content is found in eLibrary, so we're not taking you out to some third-party website. And then we also select some deeper dives, some specific architects you can dive into, learn more about. And then you have these breadcrumb trails that you can explore as well. Just pop into one of the documents. It's all full text. Here's the translation button. Here's the text-to-speech button, links to related documents, and more here. So I'll just stop there and jump back to PowerPoint really quickly and just put my name up on the screen. My name is Larry Wilkner. I'm a product manager at Clarivate. We're very proud and grateful for our partnership with WiLS. If you have any questions about eLibrary, please reach out. I'm happy to assist. And if you'd like a trial or a quote on eLibrary, you can contact WiLS. They have all the information needed, and anything they can't answer, they will reach out to Chris Michaels, who's your account manager, and he's happy to help. So once again, thank you so much for this opportunity to present eLibrary.
Thank you, Larry. Always a thorough but fascinating and easy to absorb overview of some really great resources. And in this case, eLibrary. I hope you'll come back again and again and show us more and more stuff, because every time I am in one of these sessions with you, I always learn something new about these resources. I haven't seen any questions come in here during the session, but just like Larry said, feel free, viewers, to reach out to us here. If you've got a question that we can't answer, we know who to go to get you the answer quickly, and responses are always very fast from our friends over at Clarivate. Okay, and I think we are ready. I'm going to share my screen one last time just to tee up our fourth presenter for today, and that is Alec, who is joining us from Kids Discover. Alec, welcome to Taco Tuesday.
Thanks, Jeff. Good to see you again. How have you been?
I've been very well. It's nice to see you too. So it's been a great cross section today of longtime WiLS partners and newer WiLS vendor partners. Kids Discover is one of WiLS's newer vendor partners, but there's been tons of interest from our members ever since announcing our partnership. So I'm really excited have Alec here again to give us a little bit of a look at their resource. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and more importantly, I'm going to stop talking so that you can take over.
Excellent. I will share my screen. Thanks for having us again, Jeff and WiLS. My name is Alec. I work for Kids Discover. We are an educational publisher. As Jeff mentioned, we just joined WiLS last March, April of this year. So not even a full year ago. We've had a really large amount of interest and also purchases from districts throughout the state. And, hopefully we can keep that going into this school year. So what I'm going to walk through today is Kids Discover Online. Kids Discover Online is our digital platform. It's a web-based application, so it's accessible from any internet-enabled device. It's going to be the same experience for the user, whether they are in the school classroom, the school library, or at home. What we specialize in are nonfiction resources, specifically science and social studies. And our key demographic area are elementary and middle school. So that grade K to 8 range is really our sweet spot. I like to start by going over just kind of the breakdown and the breadth of our library and what that hierarchy looks like. I'll go over our Discover Map feature at the end because it's a really great feature and I do want to get to it, but we'll kind of start at the 30,000-foot view and work our way down. So as I mentioned, we specialize in nonfiction, science, social studies, and language arts resources. All of Kids Discover Online subscriptions are all access, meaning that you're going to get access to all of our science, social studies, ELA resources across all grade levels, all content types. So not only articles themselves, but we've also got a very great and quickly growing infographic and video library. But a little bit of the breakdown of kind of the content hierarchy. So we've got these 10 color-coded content areas. And all of our resources on our website are going to ladder up to one of these content areas. I'm just going to toggle over to a list view of these same 10 color-coded content areas. So within these 10 color-coded content areas, we have what we call units of study. So these are all the units of study within American history. I can jump into geography. So a nice alphabetical list. And so across our library, we've got over 350 individual units of study. We're adding to the library every year. We've added about a dozen new NGSS science units for the lower grade levels for this school year. So over 350 units of study. And then within the units of study themselves, we have what we call topics or articles. And so across those 350 units, we have around 4,000 individual articles. And I will mention that those 4,000, that 4,000 number considers articles written at just a single level. The majority of our articles do come in 3 different reading levels. So there are kind of 3 versions of each article as well. Jumping into an article itself, I really like to go over our editorial style because I think it's very unique. I think it's one of our biggest, if not our biggest selling points. So before I go over the great features that are embedded within each article, I really like to just scroll through an article so you can kind of get a feel for what our editorial style is. So good amount of white space, good amount of padding that's intentional. We really want to make this approachable and digestible for some of those more reluctant readers. We like to have animations. We've got some animated GIFs right here. We try and have some sort of interactive module. We've got about a dozen or so different kinds of interactive modules. Here's a progression module example that students can click through. So a really interactive and immersive reading experience. We like to have a small, short, concise caption that's supported by a large, vibrant visual. And we really find that is what makes us more approachable for some of those more reluctant readers. And that way, that coupled with the varied reading levels and a lot of the other reading aids that we offer really allows for a class of students at different reading levels to all read along in unison and kind of learn at the same pace, but their pace. Some of the in-article features that I like to go over. So new for this school year, we've added this copy URL feature up at the top of essentially every resource page. I'm on an individual article page, but you would find this button essentially on every resource page. And so this is a really great entry point for students. Educators can copy the exact URL resource, and this will embed their school's password into that URL so that when they're sharing it out, it makes for a really seamless start to a lesson. No students won't have to enter a username and password or worry about navigating to the article or the video that the teacher wants to start the lesson with. Really seamless, access point for students. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback on that over the last, couple of weeks since we've rolled it out. At the top of every article page, you're going to see a list of varied reading level options. So the majority of our articles do come in these 3 different Lexile reading levels. The lowest range is going to be approximately grades 3-4 on the Lexile range. The medium level, the 750 to 890, is approximately grades 5-6. And then this highest level, 900 to 1040, is going to be approximately grades 7-8 on the Lexile scale. And so what this takes into account is sentence structure, sentence length, and punctuation. We use the same terminology, same vocabulary across all 3 reading levels so that regardless of what reading level the user's reading at, they're able to still grasp that same piece of information. I will mention quickly that I did caveat by saying that most of our articles do come in 3 different reading levels. Our K1 and 2 units of study are just going to be written at a single grade level, which is the level that they're intended for. So when I say most of our articles, that's referring to primarily our grade 3 through 8 materials. And that's usually what you'll find that are leveled at these 3 different reading ranges on the Lexile scale. Citation feature was new for last school year. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on this as well. So students can copy MLA or APA citation format from the article and paste it wherever they're doing their sourcing of information. And then down here at the bottom of every article page is what we call our student toolbar. And this is what houses all of our read aloud functionalities. We've got a translation feature, a couple additional reading aids. So I'll go over those really quickly. Read aloud functionality, so students can read the entire article aloud from start to finish. The more commonly used read aloud functionality would require a student to highlight a single word or an entire passage.
Discover map standard.
And then when they click that, it will read aloud that text while highlighting that portion of the text.
Living in Antarctica is no picnic, but
Translation feature is going to be this globe icon to the right of the read aloud. So with this feature, students can highlight a single word or an entire passage as well. Click that globe icon and they'll get this little pop-up window with the highlighted text translated. We default to Spanish. We do offer 16 languages total that all of our articles are translatable into. And you can use the read aloud functionality with the majority of articles, that languages that we translate to. I believe it's about 12 or so of the 16 that you can use that read aloud functionality with, which is great. Translation feature. So a student would highlight a single word, click that A to Z icon, and they'll get the same pop-up window. They can also use the read aloud functionality to have the definition read aloud.
fluid in which the embryo is.
We've got a couple reading aids that I mentioned. So at the top of the screen on every page of our website, students can increase or decrease the font size if needed. And then we've also got this great reading ruler that students can pop into place. If they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of text on the page, they can employ this and block off that lower portion of the text and read at a pace that they're more comfortable with. Gear icon is settings, so you can control a couple of the reading aid features here. So I can control the speed of the read aloud voice, as well as the text highlight color while the read aloud is happening. And I can also control the language that I'm translating to. So again, we default to Spanish. I believe we're up to 16 languages now. Anywhere you see this speaker icon to the right of the language means that that read aloud functionality is capable with that language. And if I change the language from Spanish to any other language, that will stick with me for the entirety of my session as a student. So this should be French now. Yep, great. Couple other features on the platform I like to go over. I know we're rounding down to a couple minutes. So Kids Discover Online is considered a database, and we are technically, yes, a database. I consider us a very, very robust database. In fact, the majority of our purchases don't come through the school library system. They actually come through either science or social studies departments. We're often used as a curriculum supplement across either or both of those two subject areas. And so another selling point for you to go to your teachers and principal is our library is very well aligned, not only with Wisconsin state standards, but also NGSS and Common Core. So if I wanted to enter Wisconsin, any grade level, and we'll do social studies, this list of results will pull from the Wisconsin State Department of Education, and we will provide you a list of all of the units of study that we have in our library that we feel ladders up to a specific descriptor or focus area underneath a domain. So all of these blue hyperlinks right here that you see in this far right-hand column are entire units of study that we have. And those hyperlinks will take you to what we call a unit overview page. So this is just a great hub of resources if you want to get a feel for a certain subject area on our platform and kind of what resources we offer, within that subject area. So we offer a teacher guide and power vocabulary PDF. So this is great for some lesson planning tools and ideas for teachers. It's got a lot of our ELA components and vocabulary activities. Some of those vocabulary activities have been digitized, so a little bit of gamification on our platform now. Students can do one of 3 vocabulary activities directly on our platform. I've mentioned we've got a video library, so if there is any supporting resources that go along with the unit, in addition to the topics or articles within that unit, we'll also list any videos and infographics here on this page. So I like to call it our search by standards feature. And then in the last minute or two, I'll just show you our Discover map really quickly. It's a great way to end it. So our Discover map is really great feature. It really helps promote inquiry-based learning skills, and it really allows students to build cross-curricular connections, which are 2 of the things that we're really big on here at Kids Discover, but specifically the cross-curricular connection aspect. So these are these 10 same color-coded content areas that we've been looking at throughout the demo. If I were to click on any one of them, we'll do historical figures. That's going to recenter to the middle of this web. And all these blue circles on the outside are all the units of study that we have within our historical figures content area. So if I were to toggle over to the same list view, these are the same circles on the outside, and list view alphabetized right here. And so what this does, if I click one level deeper or beyond, and let's click on a good one. Let's do the Wright Brothers. So if I click on the Wright Brothers unit of study, you'll see that now recenters to the middle of this web. And some of those colors on the outside are starting to change from that solid blue color when we were only looking at historical figure content areas. So again, I'm showing a user that the Wright Brothers from historical figures is related to energy from physical science, birds from life science, World War I from world history. And this really is intended to be a little bit of an educational rabbit hole where students can keep making an infinite number of connections, and they can either click directly into a unit overview page if they're interested, or directly into an article itself. The articles can be read as standalone. They can also be read in consecutive order in that unit. So teachers have a lot of autonomy with how they want to pick and choose our resources on our platform. All right, we are right at the bottom of the hour. I'll finish off by saying we are always happy to open up trial access. You can either reach out to myself directly, or you can go through Jeff or Sarah at WiLS. They have my contact information. We're happy to open up trial access throughout any point of the year. So whenever you typically evaluate new resources, we're usually able to accommodate. So please feel free to take us up on that offer sometime this school year.
Alec, thank you so much. I said this at the beginning before you started, but I'll repeat it here. This is something new for WiLS, but basically the day we announced the new partnership, we just were flooded with quote requests. So there's been a ton of interest in Kids Discover. I'm sure that that's just going to continue as word continues to get out here in Wisconsin about it. I'm excited about it. I think it's a really cool resource that any school should be looking at least considering.
Awesome.
So thank you for joining us for Taco Tuesday, Alec, and for showing us around.
Of course, Jeff. Any questions, feel free to send them my way. Thanks for hosting and having us again. And I'm sure I'll see you at one of these another point later on the school year.
Absolutely. Definitely. We'll be delighted to have you back.
Excellent. All right. Take care, Jeff. Have a good rest of your day. And thanks everyone for joining or watching if you're watching at a later date.
Thank you too, Alec.
Take care. See ya.
All right. So with that, that brings us to the end of another Taco Tuesday session. I'm really excited to be back doing Taco Tuesdays. We took a couple of months off in the summer, but here we are again. We saw 4 great presentations by 4 vendor partners, and fun is just starting. We're going to be back to doing Taco Tuesdays every other week for the remainder of the calendar year. I think possibly in December we might have 2 back-to-back in order to avoid the holidays, but that's a little farther down the line. We don't have to worry about that. Our next Taco Tuesday is going to be 2 weeks from now, which is September 17th, again at 11:30 a.m. So thank you to all of our presenters. Thank you to all of you watching both live and watching the recording after the fact. If you have any questions about anything you saw today, please feel free to reach out to us here. Best way to reach us at the Cooperative Purchasing Service here at WiLS is via the email address coop, that's COOP, @wils.org. Thanks again for watching, and I hope your school year is off to a great start. Bye.